Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anil Joshi. Welcome you to my series Iconology and Temple Architecture Perspectives. In this context, we are going to visit today Gadag. Gadag is a place near Hampi, and often those who visit Hampi, very few of them goes to Gadag. But now I'll tell you how much beautiful this Trilokeshwar temple is, so that if you go or you are planning a trip to Hampi, definitely you will go to this small village near Gadag and visit to this temple. It's a beautiful, and let us explore it. Let us find out why it is called so beautiful. So Hampi is beautiful. Monuments of Hampi are beautiful, but even the surrounding places are important. They are also beautiful. Hampi is very, very important, not only from those who follow religion, but also for those who follow history, and for also those who want to know why India was called as the most prosperous country in the world, why Vijayanagar was called as the richest town, richer than Rome at its time, that is in 15th century. So for that, it has to meet certain criteria. It has to have a biggest trading center. It was the biggest trading center in Asia as far as horses, diamonds, gold, silver are concerned. Not only that, it was also a biggest market for the weapons, then also for those who want to sell their horses, then the camels, believe it, camel I said, even camels were sold here, and the city was so prosperous that it had a supermarket of diamonds, silver and gold separately, horse market separately, so also a market of pan supari, that was also a separate big market having stalls, hundreds of stalls were there. Now all these things were attracting many foreign visitors. Is it that the only place for trading? No, it was also a historical place. A lot of events mentioned in Puranas and Ramayanas have occurred here. This was a Kishkinda in Puranas. In Ramayana, it was the birthplace of Lord Hanumana. It was a kingdom of Vali and Sugriva's, and Prabhu Ramachandra has stayed here while going to Sri Lanka for a couple of days. He has worshipped here Shiva, whose temple is still there, and also there are many other architectural, iconological, temple designing point of view, like a Vithala temple which has got a musical pillars. Here there are plates which can sing. After Vithala temple, you can also see big Gopuram that was there in the Hampi. Big Gopuram singing pillars of Vithala, and also royal enclosures. Now, royal enclosures means it was a king's palace and a place for activity at that time. You can see ruins, but that can give you how much gorgeous it would have been. We have heard of stories of Tenali Ram and Krishna Dev Raya, which has occurred here. Now here there are big elephant stables, which means that they have large number of elephants with them. They were having processions of horses, elephants there in front of stable. Then they have a large zanana, which was including a lotus palace. Then also there is Queen's Bath, summer palaces. Their queens were staying absolutely in comfort. And what kings were doing? Every day morning they were going for war exercises. That was in front of elephant stable, where they had teachers right from Mongolia. So they are learning all arts of war here. And you can also see certain pushpakaranis, that is wells, the designing of which is at such a geometry and with such a preciseness that you will be just stunned looking at it. And believe it, it was constructed in a very short time. Go anywhere in the town, you will find a Gopuram of Virupaksha temple. Go anywhere in town, you will see hills of the Matunga hills, then Hanuman birthplace, that is Anjanadri hills. So also many temples, many supermarkets. So do visit Hampi after a brief idea. Main aim of our series is to give you a brief idea about multiple monuments. However, that is not possible to cover in one lecture. Therefore, we have got multiple lectures. Stay tuned to us, see our multiple videos, subscribe to us and enjoy the wealth of knowledge and know why India was the most powerful, why Vijayanagara Samrajya was most powerful, why it was the largest supermarket, why it was attracting tourists all throughout, and what was the technological advances. Let's get going to each topic. So let's find out. This is little bit away from the highway, but it is very close to it. You have to go to this village, and in this village you will find this ASI protected monument. The road is very small, but somehow you should reach it, and once you reach it, you will know that you have come to really a place you should not have missed. So we are describing today, we are visiting today, and we are photographing today Trikuteshwara temple of Gadag, that is near Hampi, Karnataka state, and the temple is devoted to multiple gods. Let's see which gods are there. It is devoted to which deities, and there are certain few of them which are unique. Let's go and see it. Now the Badami Chalukyas were exponent on the early architecture achievements in the Deccan. Especially this temple is constructed by Western Chalukyas. They had constructed a temple at Aihori, Badami, Pattadakal, and were also in multiple places in between, whether small or big, and they have everywhere tried some different technique, some different art, and everything is in its own way beautiful. They were succeeded by Rashtrakutas and Kalyani Chalukyas. So that is the best part of South India. The dynasty have changed. The kings were different. Kings were following sometime Hinduism, sometime Jainism, sometime Vaishnavism, sometime they were Shivites, but all these kings have supported all the followers, and they have developed all the temples in equal devotion, and they have spent equally to make them something like a long-lasting, memorable. The Udikar temple is in the town, is near the town of Gadag, around 50 kilometers southeast of the Hubli Dharwad, that is the Twin Cities. It is dedicated to Shiva and has 3 lingas mounted on the same shrine. 3 lingas on same shrine. Please note, this is not a routine thing. There are a lot of differences we are going to find in this temple. So this is first the 3 shrines of Shiva mounted on the same stone. There is a shrine dedicated to Saraswati. Very few temples in India are devoted to Ma Saraswati. Saraswati is the goddess of wisdom, education. So there are few temples, though it is one of a very important aspect in life, and she is worshipped in all the schools. And it has got ornated pillars. Pillars are decorated, and there are sculptures and curved columns. Now curved column again was introduced by Chalukyas. We had discussed it in extensive when we had discussed the temples of the Pattadakal, how the technology was introduced, and you'll find them as though they have used some lathe machines. But please note, it was around 1500 years back to 2000 years back. So in between these they have constructed 1000 years to 2000 years. And that time there was no lathe machines, but in spite of that they could curve the stones. And the peak of it is at Bellur and Haibiddu. There you will get the best curves and best ornated pillars. The temple dates back to the Kalyani Chalukyas, who ruined this region, or who ruled in this region around 1050 to 1200 CE, during which the time about 50 temples were built. Ma Saraswati temple has been vandalized in the early age, and hence puja is not offered here, but the architecture is existing. You should visit it. Lot of visitors surrounding places visits it, and they offer worship from outside. The number of late Chalukyas monuments, that is from 11th and 12th centuries in the city, indicate that historically it was an important place for them. The other temple in the Gadag are those dedicated to Someshwara and Veer Narayana. These are the additional temples in town Gadag. The middle of the city stands the Someshwara temple. Though abandoned and now in a dilapidated state, The intricate carvings are fairly well preserved. The doorway to the hall have densely carved and figures of different. You will appreciate the designs. They are very common in all Hindu temples, and these are the curved figures and foliations which will remind you of any Hindu temple, and they are landmark of any Hindu temples anywhere. It was designed and built by an architect called Jagannathachari. So Jagannathachari was the main, they call it Sutradhara in that stage. He was well acquainted not only with the engineering, structural, but also astrology. They were also expert in selecting a soil, selecting the stones and designing. You can call it as structural also is included in it, and carvings are also included in it. The main shrine has 3 Shiva Lingas representing 3 Murtis on a single base, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. The other shrine is dedicated to the goddess of learning, Saraswati. The decoratively carved walls and pillars, walls, panels and beautifully sculpted figures and stonework screens make this temple attractive and beautiful and memorable. Bit away from the town, away from the highway, not much people visiting it, but if you visit it, and when I'll show you the picture, you'll definitely agree with me. The pujas are still offered here occasionally, and but the Saraswati idol is missing. Even while broken, the status is still remarkable and leaves you wondering how beautiful it would have been when it was intact and in earlier days. And adjacent temple, there are 3 shrines dedicated to Saraswati, Gayatri and Sharada. Now again, a unique feature, there are very few temples dedicated to Saraswati, Gayatri and Sharada. These goddesses, temples are less. Now we'll watch a few videos which will give you a 3-dimensional idea about these temple, and we'll see in detail then a photograph focusing the close views of the sculptures, then pillars. We are in the temple of Lakakundi. This is near Gadag. It is a typical Dravidian temple with a large water reservoir. As you know, all the South Indian temple, there is always a Pushkarani or water reservoir adjacent to temple. Look at this pillar, circular, carved. Now to make this technique of circular was unique of Western Chalukyas, or rather Chalukyas. They started it well before in 8th century, somewhere in Pattadkal, and it spread to everywhere. Wherever they constructed a temple, they carried the technology. Now, what is the Gadag architectural style? It is ornated pillars. Then this temple, you can appreciate them. First they were square, then they were made in different shapes. You can see the symmetry, how the pillars are. Some are exactly circular, and those who are circular, they are from the black granite. And look at the polish. Today even you can see your own image in it. They are so well polished so well kept, well preserved black ones, that you can really appreciate them. A similar thing exactly you can find in Ballur and Haribeddu. The granite comes from that region. In this region, you find the sandstones which are of red color, slightly soft. And this is the temple. Now looking at it, it will remind you of Goa, Tamdi Mahadeva temple, correct. So this will remind you of the Tamdi temple of Goa. It is practically in many ways resembles it because the craters are same. By the Chalukyas, the sanctum enriches the three Shiva lingas, as I told you, the temple, chiseled, stone screens and carved figures. Now we are recollecting what we have seen, what we have heard. Again, take home message: when you go to Gadag, when you go to Hampi, you will remember all these things. So a small repetition, that there is a shrine to the Saraswati with the Trikuteshwara temple with extinguished stone columns, then inclined slabs that serves as a balcony seats are decorated with figurative panels and are overhung by the steeply angled eaves. So these are the, again, it will remind you of the Tamdi temple. The east sanctum has three lingas representing three murtis, that is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, and the south is dedicated to goddess Saraswati, again an unusual figure. You will not find a temple except at few places like Pushkar that is of the Brahmadeva, and the goddess Saraswati temples are very few, though she is worshipped by all schoolboys. Just by the side, another temple dedicated to three Devis, that is Saraswati, Gayatri and Sharada. We are reminding you because it is not a very common finding. And with that, we are coming to the end of this lecture. If you have more information about this, do convey to us. In case if you added our knowledge, if you added my knowledge in, we have given you knowledge, we have given you information, then give us a like. And if you feel you should hear more videos like this, then subscribe us. See you, goodbye and take care. Again, we'll meet in the next video.